Hello Tubesters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. Today is going to be a review of a 54mm Woodland native allied to the British in the French Indian Wars. You see the bit of artwork here. It's from Troop54. You'll see a bit of advertising blurb I've put out on the left. I've got absolutely no contacts with this company at all, but I'm so impressed with the two figures I bought, which was the French Napoleonic figure, again resin and again 54mm, which you might have seen on a previous video, which has yet to be constructed and painted and based, but nothing new there for most of us. I got this idea from watching one of Fraser's videos. He's obviously been doing his muskets and tomahawks for, I believe, a Christmas game, and obviously in 28mm for wargaming purposes. But I've been a huge fan, like a lot of us, of Last of the Mohicans, and it just, you know, I happened to have seen this this figure a couple of weeks earlier, and I thought, you know what, it cost me approximately £16. I'd also got a book, a figure painting book, one of the Mr. Black's publications, which unfortunately I haven't got in front of me at the moment, but I'll leave that for another video. Yeah, so I'd seen Fraser's lovely work on his natives, and I just thought, you know what, I've got to do this. I knew I could get this figure in, and I thought, why not? So here we are. This is our fellow. Hopefully you can see that. I've looked over him. Obviously, I've already had him out of the packet, and I couldn't. There's no holes that I can see anywhere. I can try and get it in a bit more, but I don't know if it's going to help us anymore. Not really. So let's go around these bits here. Let me get a little pointy stick as usual. These are just little casting plugs. I call them plugs, but whatever the proper name is. But that's all they are. The only tiny holes I could see at all, and I don't even think they're actually, they might just be, see those two there, but I actually think that's actually supposed to be like just a furl in the fabric rather than a hole, so that's probably me being picky. Obviously, you've got a tiny bit of flash on the buckskin leggings there. The facial features, I think it's fantastic. I probably like the box art. I probably won't do it in war paint. Quite often, unlike the Hollywood versions, as you've probably seen in a lot of photographs, and Last of the Mohicans, they'd often have, say, maybe the lower jaw covered in a black or a ochre colour, or indeed the top part. And I've got a couple of books on the period and the natives at the time. So I did think, do I do something with war paint? But it's such a beautiful face, fantastic sculpt. I really didn't want to spoil the facial features by, blanking it all out. So I think I'm going to do him just as not necessarily, well, fairly close to the box art probably. I might change this breech cloth here. I'll keep him in red. He's a British allied, so he's either got a British vest on, from under the jacket, or it could be a jacket that he's cut the arms off. He's obviously got a cotton shirt. Obviously, you got the usual gunpowder horn. This is a war club. I've always loved these war clubs. I think they used to make them a lot in maple. So I'm sorry for going a bit quiet there. I'm just trying to stifle a sneeze. We've got a blanket roll here, which normally would obviously have a few bits and pieces rolled up in the middle. I think I'll keep the leggings mainly buff. Breech skin, hide of some description. Got the moccasins here. So the light's probably a bit bright there. I might put a bit of colour into those, a few beads at the top. And I probably might make my waistcoat slightly a bit more orangier than it is in the artwork. Obviously shaven headed, just a scalp block at the back. Now this divot here, this will be where the musket, I'll show the musket in a second. And obviously the arm here, and just like as it shows there, he's actually holding the musket. And the hands are touched to the musket. So over and all, his head's down in an expression that he's maybe, you know, looking for tracks of the enemy, maybe an enemy raiding party, and he's scouting, or just looking for people invading his tribe's territory. But no, we're thoroughly impressed with that. There's not a bit, you know, as I say, no holes to fill, nothing. That's why I've left the advertising blurb on the side here. You know, I really do think, you know, guys that produce this type of work, you know, they deserve a plug where possible. You've even got the sling here. See where the rest of the musket will go. So let's put him down for a second. I'll just quickly show you the bag. I won't get them out of the bag because I'm bound to break something. But again, there's his lower arm. You can just see on the butt of the musket there, a bit of a plug there that will need carving out and just slightly sanding, but that's not too much to worry about. Not really looked into what these two little pieces are here, to be honest with you. If they're actually anything, if they just might even be a bit of off-cut, I really don't know. And there's the hand holding the musket. So again, you know, they've even put that on a piece of card to keep it protected, stop it warping. Now there was an extra in here that I found really impressed. I've got the idea that I want. If anybody's following the 1 in 35 scale diorama that's not shifted since for about, was it 6 weeks now or more? I haven't gone off the boil with that. It's just I'm really knocking on with this Saxon commission because it literally is now in the last, you know, week or two of completion. And I've just really put everything on the back burner, apart from a few 10mm, just to get it done. But my plan is for this to obviously put him on a plinth, and I was going to put him near if either a lake shoreline or you know, a stream of some description. And when I opened the bag, it's obviously it comes in these plastic boxes. And you know, you can shake it and you don't hear a thing rattling. And the reason I was a bit concerned is because you get this great big monster piece of timber in there, which I thought was a nice touch. You can see it down here. And it actually comes with it. So obviously you've got to clean them. Maybe the two little offcuts might actually be the plug for that. I'm not sure, but you know, when you turn it into a piece of birch, piece of Douglas fir, you've got all the lenticels there in the bark. I thought it was a really nice you know, addition. I'll just quickly, obviously I've got the casting blocks on this, so I can't actually show you. In here though, he's posed obviously walking down the log itself. But I thought, you know, incorporate that into my small piece of water feature at the base, you know, and maybe a few stones for him to walk over, you know, that he's just tracking them with, tracking the intruders. So, no, very impressed with that overall. And I say about approximately £16. Obviously you've got to pay postage. That was from Kirtle's Miniatures, I've mentioned before. What I like about the Troop54 figures, they're often constructed around artwork. And here we have obviously what's giving them the inspiration there. If you remember back to my Napoleonic figure, that was from a print done at the time of a guy in about 1808, and the same here, you know, we've got the, is it 1750s? And this fella's obviously tracking along the woodland, either for the King's forces, or even just, you know, seeing any Abenaki or Huron tribes that are invading Iroquois land. So yeah, I've got my head's bubbling over with ideas what to do with this guy. He still won't be painted for a couple of weeks, and obviously worked on for a couple of weeks. So I've got to get this commission out of the way. But no, I just wanted to show him off. You know, yet another of Gav's projects, and hopefully he'll turn out as good as Fraser's work. So thanks for stopping by and taking a look. I hope everything's going well with you guys, and all those projects are coming to fruition maybe for Christmas. And I will catch you again on another video. So see you soon, guys. Cheers.